with the gameplay loop and hero identity of Overwatch, which it does right now, this is a recipe for a game to become mainstream. It is. If you're not paying attention to Marvel Rivals, it's time to start. Let's have a little bit of a chat here today. There's been a ton of speculation thrown around about Marvel Rivals. Is this the Overwatch killer? Is it this? Is it that? And you guys know why you come to this channel. You come here to get the unfiltered, raw, damn truth, regardless of which way it swings. So I'm going to tell you guys exactly what I think and why I think. So here we go. Let's start out with Marvel Rivals as a game. Guys, this game is fantastic. I have over 60 hours in this game already. And now visually, it might not look the best, but at least for most streamers, there's actually an issue with OBS being able to actually capture your game. So most of the footage you're seeing is either through window capture, which isn't really optimized that well, or display capture, even worse, which is how I have had to stream this game for a while. So that dramatically downscales the quality of the game on the YouTube viewing experience compared to what it actually is in the game. Now, does the game need to be optimized better? Yes, that's one of the big shortcomings of it right now, but it is only in beta and it's slated to release in 2025. So let's get the visuals out of the way. The third person looks a little bit wacky at first from the outside looking in, but after you start playing the game and adjusting to it, you're like, okay, wait a minute. I actually kind of like this because characters like Black Panther, Spider-Man, and Venom would not be able to work the way they are in a first-person game. Having the game be in third person actually gives them a little bit more flexibility in the type of abilities and heroes that they introduce and having to allow them to be more like they are in the Marvel lore. And I'm not a die-hard Marvel fan, but I am a pretty big Marvel fan. I've read several of their comics. One of my favorite storylines of all time is the Ultimate Spider-Man comics. If you have not read them, man, I really recommend you do so because they are freaking awesome. Okay. So a lot of the characters are super, super awesome. I've obviously been playing a lot of Black Panther. I picked up Iron Man recently. I've been playing a lot of Storm. And dude, let me tell you, the cast and the way that they captured hero identity is on par with Overwatch. This is the first game that has captured hero identity and a gameplay loop with a special gameplay offering that is on par with Overwatch. I will say it for what it is. Not to mention, if you are really, really infatuated with some of the characters, which, a lot of people take heroes in Overwatch very personally, there are hundreds of comic books that you can go read about any of your favorite characters, which you can't really say for Overwatch. Now, these are all more, just icing on the cake, if you will. At the end of the day, if a game is going to be good, the gameplay has to be good. But, this is a big important part about what made Overwatch so special is that, nobody did character identity better until now. Like, when I'm playing Loki, for example, another hero that I played, like, he feels like a trickster. Like, they captured him brilliantly. When I'm playing Black Panther, I feel like I'm on the prowl. I feel like a menace. When I'm playing Venom, I'm mobile. It's like, it literally feels like I'm playing an Insomniac game. It's incredible how well they captured these hero identities in this game. And the gameplay loop, I'm not going to lie, guys, is pretty engaging. I think there are a couple issues left to iron out. I think sometimes healing can be really, really strong. I think it'd be cool if tanks were a little bit less tanky and more damage-centric. You can allow them to make a little bit more plays if you make sustain a little bit weaker. But, man, they took all of the wacky, fun, crazy out of Overwatch, reimagined everything. For example, think about how abilities work in this game. The abilities in Marvel Rivals are so much more dynamic and unique than what they are in Overwatch. For example, the Loki clones that you spawn on the map will then shoot at the targets you're shooting at. The ability is not something that's been introduced to Overwatch. It's even more outside of the box. Storm, as a DPS, gives her allies speed or damage amp. Now, it's not a huge number, but that's not something that you would see outside of the support role in Overwatch, right? Like, the lines in Marvel are much more blurred into where these certain abilities can fit in. And I find that to be super dynamic and super, super fun. On top of that, they took synergy in Overwatch and took it to a whole new level with lore-based character synergies and team-ups. And what these team-up abilities and synergy abilities are is sometimes it's an entire new ability that gets unlocked for the character. Like, for example, when you have a Thor on your team, and then you're playing Storm, you get a new unique chain lightning ability that's like, it's like your right click or your secondary fire, but even better because it chains to everybody on its own cooldown. Or if you're playing Iron Man, which is an insane synergy with a Hulk on your team, your overdrive gets infused with gamma radiation, drastically amping your damage, making your hero really strong, really strong. It's so cool. It's so cool. And, you know, is it going to be a competitive, like, super Overwatch League-esque game? No. And I actually hope they don't go that direction, because a lot of the fun, wacky stuff in this game is going to be what separates it from the pack. I hope it stays an open queue. I do. I was a role queue advocate in Overwatch. I hope, well, I also want to see, this is a little bit biased, I admit, I want to see what happens. I'm very curious to see what happens. It's almost like a science experiment playing before your eyes about, like, you know, what's actually better, you know, for the genre. And so I hope they stay in open queue, and I hope they double down on these wacky things. Like, if you have a Venom on your team, you're playing Spider-Man, you get a symbiote attack. It's awesome. It's awesome. Now it's OP, but it's still fucking cool. It's really damn cool, man. And I love seeing that. And they'll rotate out these synergies based on the season. So what Marvel Rivals is, I've talked a little bit about the gameplay loop. Every hero has a unique identity and a unique purpose. It feels really, really fun to play them, and they do their things in a unique way. Like, both Iron Man and Storm are flyers, but it feels very different to play Iron Man than it does to play Storm. And that's freaking awesome that they were able to capture that. I cannot stress this enough. So what is Marvel Rivals? What is it actually? So I guess the big reason why everybody's here is they want to know if Marvel Rivals is going to kill Overwatch. Marvel Rivals is not going to kill Overwatch. I think Marvel Rivals will kill Paladins more than it will kill Overwatch, but it will directly compete with Overwatch, which is great for the consumers in this genre. That is what we need. And I'm not saying Paladins is going to die, but, like, you know, Marvel Rivals is like a mix between Fortnite and Overwatch if it's going to have a League of Legends-esque hero roster. Like, I hope they continue to add a ton of different characters, and this is where the Marvel's going to be able to win. It's that they're less limited with their design choices. They very clearly want to go more wacky and powerful to really capture what the Marvel heroes actually are. And on top of that, you know, they can add a roster with way more depth. So I hope it has the character options of League, with the gameplay loop and hero identity of Overwatch, which it does right now, with the visuals of Fortnite and it being an Unreal Engine 5. This is a recipe for a game to become mainstream. It is. If you guys have, let me just tell you this. If you're not paying attention to Marvel Rivals, it's time to start. This game will not be dead on arrival. It won't. I would be shocked if it won't. I've easily been able to put in 60 plus hours in the game, and every night I'm playing the game. Every single night I've told myself, all right, I'm getting off after this game. Oh, okay, one more. Oh, okay, one more. I haven't had that feeling in so long when playing Overwatch. But because Overwatch is first person and Marvel's third person, they will be a little bit different from each other. So it's not like Marvel is just going to replace Overwatch. The offerings that these two games have are definitely different. But as of right now, I've been really enjoying Marvel. I love the game, guys. It's so much damn fun. And to me, it kind of is like the difference between, like, Apex Legends, for example, and Warzone, right? Where it's like they're both BRs, but they're very clearly different, and they do their specialty a little bit different. Like, they're both Mexican restaurants, right? You know, in the restaurant industry, like, let's compare the gaming to the restaurant industry. You could have a whole line of restaurants on the street, and they're technically competing with each other, right? But one could be a Chinese food, a Panda Express. One could be a Taco Bell, right? Which is more Mexican, and then you can have a ton of different variety, right? But how this is like if a Panda Express and a PF Chang's opened up next door to each other. It's like, which one are you going to go to? And if you're a customer, you're like, yo, this is sick. I have choices. Now, if you're the chain owners of the restaurants, you're like, this goddamn PF Chang's opening up next to my Panda Express. What the hell is going on? Get these guys out of here. It's cool, man. It's really cool. So Marvel Rivals will not kill Overwatch, but it will take a chunk of their players. It will. I think Marvel Rivals, if Marvel Rivals is going to kill any game, it's going to be Paladins. Because Paladins is also that third-person shooter that just, they're not going to be able to, I'm not saying Paladins is a bad game or anything, but like how do you mash a Marvel's character identity when their gameplay loop is already intriguing? And you can tell how much care they put into all this stuff because, like, again, the soundtracks are amazing. Like, when I'm in Asgard, I feel like I'm in Asgard, dude. it's just a great game. It's awesome. And it's going to take a chunk out of Overwatch, but it won't kill the game. And I'm very, very excited to see what direction they take this game. And I hope they go a more casual side. Because the best thing you can do for competitive is what I've learned is, like, is make a game that's worth investing time into for casuals, and then try to, I don't know, make the rank system good, which it already kind of is. They've got hero bans to spice up the meta. And we'll see. I'm very, very curious how this one's going to play out, because I think that Overwatch as an FPS is designed to be much more competitive than a third-person shooter is. It just kind of is. But that doesn't mean the game's not fun to play competitively. It's actually very, very fun. So it's going to be a very fun thought experiment to play out here. Marvel Rivals is not going to kill Overwatch, but it will take a chunk of the players, and it will compete. Mark my words right now. Marvel Rivals is going to directly compete with Overwatch and be Overwatch's first real competitor that, frankly, as of right now, in my opinion, has a higher ceiling than Overwatch does. Marvel Rivals has a higher ceiling than Overwatch does. Unfortunately, because Overwatch has already tried to explore that ceiling, and, no flame here, they fucked it up. It just is what it is. Like, Overwatch 2 was a disaster, is a disaster currently. And Marvel Rivals doesn't have that underneath them. They don't. They've got the entire Marvel universe to explore, from character identity to campaigns they could do, events they could do. They could really do anything. And they don't have to rely on a writing team to hire to do that, because they've got years of comics they could choose from. And if this game does well, who knows what Marvel could try to do to put into it. But man, I'm excited. So let me leave it at this, guys. Marvel Rivals will not kill Overwatch, but they will take big chunks of that player base. They absolutely will. I'm going to be one of them. I plan on covering Marvel Rivals very, very thoroughly. In fact, I might cover it more than Overwatch on this channel. I will probably do both, but man, I am so, so excited to have a real competitor out there that is just so damn fun. So listen, put Marvel Rivals on your map. It's game time, baby, and trust me, I will be there. So thank you guys for watching. Those are my thoughts on Marvel Rivals and if it will kill Overwatch. My answer is no, but it's going to do some damage. And that damage ends up being good for the consumer, aka us. And it's finally nice for, it feels like the first time in 5 years, to be put first in this genre. So much love to everybody at home. Get ready for some more Marvel Rivals. It's going to be a damn good time. So thank you guys for watching. Catch y'all later. Take care. Peace out.